Thank you for tuning in. Thanks, being part of our program. We appreciate it. Here we are together again on the radio. I want to ask women who are listening right now to listen carefully to this email and tell me if you relate to it. Tell me if in any way this is you. Tom, I listen to your show on a regular basis. I hate you and everything you say about women. However, the truth hurts, because I am one of the typical women you bitch about on your show. I have been a Navy wife for 14 years. And while my husband has gone off to serve his country, I have stayed home to do my duty, taking care of the kids. What this really means is that I spend his paycheck and watch a lot of TV. And by the way, about 80% of Navy wives are just like me. I have put on 50 pounds of the time since my husband and I met, and I have really let myself go. Now, in my 30s and really low on your 1 to 10 scale, I am terrified that my husband will start to resent me. He doesn't listen to your show, and I am fortunate that he still loves me. After listening for so long now, it has hit me that I need to do something now before he comes to his senses. Even though I abhor your abrasive attitude and sexist views, I know them to be mostly true. I just wanted to let you and your listeners know that even those who despise you will eventually realize you are right. Thanks for the wake-up call. Signed, Soon to Improve, from California. Many people, and especially many women, hate me when they first tune in, say I'm a misogynist, a chauvinist, a sexist, I'm terrible, I'm horrible, I'm a pig, I'm a creep, I'm a jerk. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you for that, by the way. But many, many, many of you, like Soon to Improve from California, if you listen long enough, eventually you see that I'm telling the truth here. And hopefully you'll figure out the truth before it's too late. So I'm wondering, are you a woman like this? On first blush, you heard this show and it was like, oh, horrible, terrible, he's wrong, he's wrong, he's wrong, I can't believe anybody listens to this crap. Then you took a look in the mirror and you took stock of yourself and you realized that everything I'm saying is true. And in some cases, and maybe this is you listening to me right now, maybe you turned your life around as a result.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
You have the show that every other jock out there wishes that they had.
This is the show everybody promises, but nobody ever delivers, for Christ's sake.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. It's Amy on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Amy.
I am just like well, not just like, but very similar to the person who wrote to you. I'm 30 years old and have been listening to you for about 4 years and absolutely hated everything that came out of your mouth about women until I had my son. My son is now 8 months. And finally, everything you said just clicked with me. In terms of what you teach the boys on Leykis 101, that's what I'm going to be teaching my son. Don't get married before you're 30. Go out, have fun, use protection. Don't get involved with single moms, all that stuff. Everything you say is absolutely true. And, it just clicked for me when I had my son. So, thank you.
I'm doing it as a public service, as you know.
It's just been amazing to me what I've learned as a result of becoming a mom, and everything you say is absolutely true, in my opinion. And
do you tell that to other women, and are they perturbed by that?
Yeah, I think so. Some of my friends just can't believe that I've done a complete 180. And my husband, he just laughs because he just can't believe that I absolutely hated you before. And I can't believe it myself. But everything you say is absolutely true about women. And I'm going to teach my son to be careful, be careful. Don't fall in love with any woman that you see. You got to be careful out there. So that's my opinion, Tom. Thank you so
Amy.
much.
Appreciate the call. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. We're talking to women who hated me when they first heard me. And then as they listened, they realized, well, maybe I had a point. Maybe you even changed your life as a result of hearing some of the things we've said about women and men. 1-800-5800-866 is our telephone number. Louise, hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
Hey, I was one of the haters.
Uh-huh.
And I think whoever could answer the phone, he asked what's my age, and I told him I was 41,
right.
Which I am.
Yeah.
And I'm highly educated, and I wonder if you realize how many highly educated women follow you.
We have actually done research here in Los Angeles and found that the women who listen have the highest income of any women listening to the radio in the afternoon and the highest educations.
Yeah, my husband and I are both in 6 digits, and we have a lot of female friends who listen to you and believe you, and I think the reason is because myself, I see a lot of women and watch a lot of women do a lot of what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just, when you were reading that, the other reason I called in was when you, it almost sounded like me. I thought, geez, I could have written that letter, but I missed the beginning part of it. But at one point she said she didn't want her husband to listen, and I'm with her. Because I don't want to be held in check, but I know I'm hoping to listen and keep myself out of it.
Excellent. Thank you, Louise.
Thanks, Tom.
Appreciate the call. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. This is Dawn on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello. Dawn? Dawn walked away from the telephone. All right, we'll get to Dawn here. Lourdes, you're on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Do you care, Lourdes?
Actually, I really do. I've been listening to you for about 2 years now. Initially, one of my friends turned me on to you who absolutely hated you. And I kind of did hate you initially, but it was because I was going through like a really bad breakup. And but everything that you pretty much say is true. And when you feel like a guy is kind of messing around or you really don't get a guy, basically just tune into this show and you kind of should have a feeling or should know what he's up to.
Uh-huh.
So you're great. Just wanted to let you know.
Well, thank you for that. So you originally had problems with me.
Yeah, but I think it's just a lot of girls and women might have problems with you just because they don't want to face the truth. That's, I think, my conclusion at least. But yeah, for the most part, like you said, like the last listener said, or everybody should marry after 30 if possible, and pretty much everything is what you say, I think.
Lourdes, thank you for the call. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. Julie on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Julie.
Yeah, I used to hate you. I mean, I could not stand you. My brother would listen to you all the time, and he had all the stickers in his car, the Leykis stickers, and I used to hate it, and I hated you, and I'd say, why do you listen to him? And then one day I went on your website, and I saw your picture, and I was disgusted. I said, how could this guy look like that and talk like this about women? But then that was because I used to be fat, and I was really pretty, but guys would never want to date me because I was just this ugly fat chick.
But you have such a pretty face.
Exactly. You're so pretty, but you got to lose weight. So then to hear you sit there and talk about women and they're fat and, oh, my God, I thought you were repulsive. So then, like, what I did was I went and because of you, I lost weight, and then I went and I had myself a tummy tuck, lipo, I had all this work done. And now everything you say is like the complete opposite of what I used to think about you. Now,
remember, I used to say, and I still do occasionally, that hot chicks have no problem with what I say.
No, it's true because I'm very pretty, and I used to always get that. You're so pretty, but you're weight, but you're fat. So now that I lost all the weight, and now that I'm pretty, and I get all this attention from men everywhere, it's like, oh, my God, I love Tom Leykis. It's true. Now you're opening my eyes, and I love you.
Oh, Julie.
I love you.
Well, thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate that call. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Carolyn on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you today?
I'm okay, Carolyn.
I just called to let you know that your previous caller who said educated women listen to the show, it's very true. And when I first started listening to you, I was newly divorced, overweight, unhappy with myself, didn't want to hear what you had to say because it was everything against what I wanted to believe. But listening to you, you make a lot of sense. And now I tell my son, who is grown, exactly what you tell these guys on the air. It's amazing. You have a very intuitive aspect. And I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for that. You know, again, in fact, there you are telling me that you were just divorced and you were overweight. And, of course, how many times have I said women go to the gym when they get divorced?
Yeah.
What if they'd done that while they were married?
That's true. That's true. And as much as I don't like some of the ways that you say things, the things that you say are very true.
I'm just being honest.
Well, and anybody that's out there that disagrees with you, they have their own personal problems for disagreeing with you because you don't lie. You tell the truth. And I encourage my son to listen to you.
Excellent.
So, thank you so much.
Carolyn, thank you. Kim on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Kim.
I used to hate you. I used to just turn on the radio to see if you had died that day.
Uh-huh.
I was like, I can't stand you, but for some reason, I kept turning on the radio to hear what you had to say. And I must say that I have learned a lot about men. And I've told some of my friends to listen to Tom. I actually have done that. So some things I don't agree with you, but about men, I listen to see what you're going to say. And I've been telling some of my friends who are married and letting themselves go, and I'm thinking, you better listen to Tom.
That's exactly right.
So I do listen and I learn.
Have you changed anything about your life as a result of tuning in?
Yes, I have. I'm working out more. I have a lot of things, houses, cars, that sort of thing, but I'm still looking for the guy that I want. But I've learned a lot from you, and I'm trying to be smarter about the way I handle myself. I'm still learning that, so I'm listening.
Now, you're a hard worker, I imagine, if you own all that stuff, and that you probably work a lot of hours.
Yes.
You do realize guys don't want to come home to an empty house.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, what do I do? They want to be just to babysit them and be with them all the time?
Well, put it this way. Here's how guys think, and by the way, I think this way. If I have to come home to an empty house, I can be single.
Oh, thank you for that. Oh, thank you for that. See, you are helpful.
But contrary to popular belief.
Contrary, you know what I did? I used to just, I hated you so much. I'm thinking, how can this guy live? I just called to see if you had died that day. But I listened and I listened and I kept listening. And now I'm turning my friends on. You better listen to Tom. You better listen. So, please give us more advice like that. Because we could use it.
Oh, I know.
So thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you. Bye.
Appreciate the call. Debbie on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
Glad you're doing good. Already know you are. Calling. I'm a long-time listener, probably about 3 years maybe. I didn't like you at first either. I had a majorly hard time with you. I'm 46 years old. I was married at 19. Had 3 children. I never went through a career, but I was in and out of school and always worked very hard and married a bum. My deal was, at the time that I first started listening to you, since then my kids are grown, and I'm in the mortgage business, and I'm mostly working with men. So I learned a lot from men myself and befriended a lot of guys. But and my husband doesn't really listen to you. It's kind of funny. He's been protected probably mostly by me, just because of the fact that I have listened. And it did take me, like I said, a little while to be convinced that you do make sense, but you do.
Now, did it change your life in any way?
Yeah, I got to say that it did, because you know what? I started putting on some weight, partly probably because of my age. I don't want to use that for an excuse, because I've always worked out, played volleyball, been very active, but, you know, I started using some things as an excuse, started giving up on my career, you know, started, you know, whining. Men have, it's a men's world. You know, it's one thing my husband used to hear all the time. It's a man's world. It's a man's world. Well, you know what? It is a man's world. You know, Dane, if you're listening, he's on the way to a fish store right now, so he may be listening to me. He's right. It is a man's world, and I'm home. I cook, no matter, even if I'm working, I cook, I clean. You know, he's got his laundry done. I make sure that he comes first, and he knows that. And
is your marriage happier now that you do that?
Well, this is my 3rd marriage, so yeah, by the 3rd time, yeah, you make it right.
All right. That's good.
Yeah, it's real good.
Debbie, thank you.
Hey, thank you, Tom. Nice talking to you.
Appreciate the call. Crystal on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I actually called not because you changed my life, but because I hated you so much when I first started listening to you. When I started working, I work at a bookstore, and another guy I work with, he listens to you all the time, and I just would bitch and bitch about how much I hated everything you said. But every single time you'd make a point, some stupid girl would call in and prove everything you said wrong. I mean right. Like, I don't know, you would say women are stupid, and they'd call in and just be stupid. And I just want to thank you for pointing out how stupid some girls are, and because I think it makes other guys, I don't know, appreciate the girls that aren't as dumb.
I think that's true. Doesn't that? I'll bet it made you feel superior, right?
Exactly, it does make me feel a little superior, and it also gives me a good conversation piece for me and my coworker back here. Everything, I'm like, oh, I hate him, I can't believe he said that. And he's like, he's right. And he'll like make it, you know, he'll make your point make more sense to me. And I'll be like, no, you're wrong. And then 5 seconds later, some retarded girl calls in and she's like, yeah, I cheat on my boyfriend all the time, even though he's in the Army. And I'm like, ugh. So yeah, I wanted to call and say hey. And,
Thank you.
He says he loves you and you're his dad. Whatever that means.
Cool. Well, say hi to my son for me, would you please?
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Stacy on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, I just wanted to call and tell you that I just recently moved here a month ago from Texas, and I had never heard a show like yours. And at first, the things you said, I really didn't like. Me and my husband would get in arguments over it. But now you're on my radio all the time.
I love that. And did it change your life at all?
It would have changed my life if you would have had a show over there in Texas where I lived at, because...
Where in Texas did you live?
In Corpus Christi.
Oh, okay. We were on there for a little while a few years ago.
Oh, it's because I'm 22, and I just had a baby, and I'm recently married. I recently got married, so it would have changed my life a whole lot if I would have listened to you earlier.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to say that I love your show.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you.
Appreciate the call. We're talking to women who hated me in the beginning, and for some reason just kept coming back and kept listening and ultimately realized I was right. And now it's changed their lives. Amanda on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello?
Is that a question or a statement?
I have a statement for you. When I first listened to you, for some reason, my boyfriend or whatever you want to call him here in San Gabriel, Eddie, he said, hey, a friend at work said, listen to this channel. And so we turned it on, right? And he preset it into my car, so I had to turn it on. And when I listened to you, I was like, oh, that guy is just a woman hater and this and that. But yet I kept listening. And then I realized that everything you said was really true.
Mm-hmm.
And so I agree with the girl, Crystal. Everything you said is really true. Even though I didn't like it in the beginning, it's really true.
Wow, and now that you know that it's all really true, has it changed your life in any way?
Well, it's going to very soon, I'm sure, but, you know, it's just recently that I'm like...
Just recently realized that I'm right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But it's going to make a definite impact, you know, in what I do and the choices I make in life, because you're definitely different, and the things you say are true, but you put them in a different perspective so we understand, you know. But it takes a while for women to grasp that, because at the very beginning, we think, oh, that's a negative comment, that's wrong.
Well, the little ladies get emotional when they first hear that.
Right. We say, oh, that's bad for us, so we have to get, you know, emotional and cry over it and say, oh, that's wrong, I can't believe they think that way. But really, we do those things.
I know.
You know, we do those mean things that you say, we do.
I know.
So it's just being honest, it's not your fault. This is what we do.
I understand. Amanda, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate the call. Terry on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you doing?
Do you care?
I most certainly care.
I'm doing great.
You were, without a doubt, the most vile human being I had ever listened to many years ago, more than I care to remember. And I listened to you for that very reason, to see how vile you could be the next day. And when I finally realized that your show was strictly about men just dating women, not getting married, how women are, what to look out for, I completely agreed with you. Women are what you say. I have 4 sons, and I haven't introduced them to you yet, but I will very soon. I want them all to find out the truth about women and not get involved too soon.
Uh-huh.
So you have changed my life in many ways.
I love that.
Yes, I do too. I'm married. I've been married forever. I've never worked. My husband is making 6 figures. I agree with what you say about your philosophy on the trophy wife. Because of that, I realize I'm going to need to keep myself in shape if I want to keep the lifestyle that I'm accustomed to living. And again, you were the one that opened my eyes to all of that. So I have you to thank you for.
I love that. 1-800-5800.
I got a problem. I'm 20 years old, married, and I have a kid.
That's 2 problems.
And I got another one, too.
That's 3.
Last night, me and my best friend's wife hooked up.
That's 4 and 5.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Yeah, it's the Tom Leykis Show, 1-800-5800-TOM. I'm talking to women who hated me, hated this show in the beginning. But as they listened, they realized I was right. And it's changed their lives. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Christy on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Christy.
I remember when I just started listening to you, I thought you were just ridiculous. My husband turned me into you, listening into you, and I just thought, this guy's crazy, you know, he's talking nonsense. But I couldn't relate to you because I was not the typical American woman. I don't have the values and the beliefs that normal American women have, and I couldn't believe what you were saying. But now that I listen to you and you make more sense, and I realize that how important it is, and I always have been doing this, cooking, cleaning, providing the best for the husband and the family, the cultural belief that I have. So,
where are you from, Christy?
I'm sorry?
Where are you from?
I'd rather not say.
You can tell us what continent it is, if nothing else.
It's part of Russia, but it's not Russian.
Okay.
Okay, so, but men in my culture, they have really high expectations of women, and it's not a third world country, you know, it's not one of the Middle Eastern countries where, you know, women have no value, but we're just raised to respect men, and we have high, we have really good family values and respect, and I just thought everything you say makes a lot of sense after a while listening to you.
Well,
So thank you for everything.
I'm here to help, Christy. Thank you for the call. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. This is Tammy on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Tammy.
Hey, I just want to let you know that I have been one of those self-righteous, semi-fat career girls for about 12 years, in and out of relationships, sort of happy, and was dating a gentleman this last January, and things were going well for about 3 months, and then he basically told me that the weight was an issue, and dumped me. And I knew that he was a disciple of yours for many, many years, and got turned on myself to the Tom Leykis ways, and went ahead and lost myself about 30 pounds in 3 months, and knocked back on the door again, and we've been together ever since. And I am headed right now to go cook dinner, and I have to say I've not been happier or healthier in my entire life, and I want to thank you.
Oh, look at that. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
So I was the one person in your life who told the truth about that.
Well, you told the truth to this wonderful gentleman, Tony, and Tony told me the truth, and I got turned on to you, and, I'm very happy. And it's so sad that I wasted so many years of my life being this, they should like me for who I am. Well, you know what? I am a beautiful woman who, deserves that, and I deserve to treat myself that way, and I deserve to treat the men in my life absolutely excruciatingly pleasurable and wonderful every day. So, thank you very much.
Tammy, thank you. I appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM. Brooke on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, what's up?
Not much, Brooke.
I was calling because I heard you several years ago. I used to live in Southern California, and absolutely agree with a lot of the callers where I just thought you were the biggest chauvinistic pig, and didn't really care much for you. And then I met my current husband, my only husband, met my husband, and then actually when I moved out here to the Las Vegas area, I found you on a station out here and actually started listening to you and kind of getting past the egotistical thing and actually understanding what you were saying. And we got married out here, and then I started putting on the weight, and I cut my hair, and I was totally one of those women, and my husband confronted me about it, and I grew my hair out and lost 20 pounds, and I actually have got my husband starting to listen to you now, so it's a lot of the things you say are true. I would have to agree with that, and I love how you promote being safe and not having kids and not getting married until you're older and ready, because there's way too few people that understand that. So that's really important, because I'm now 27 and my husband's over 30. We still don't have kids, but we waited. We lived together for 5 years before we even got married. So waiting until you're ready and being safe is the best thing to do in the world, and I'm really glad you promote that.
Well, thank you for that, Brooke. I appreciate it. It's Tracy on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
Just started listening to you, and I'm actually not at all convinced that I'm going to love you in a year.
Well, you've heard all the other women who've called this hour. They all have the same attitude you did when they first tuned in.
I realize that, but they all of them sound... Well, I don't know how to say it, but they sound like they're not terribly well educated. They sound like they're maybe we're daddy's girls. None of them sound like contemporary, women at all. They all sound like...
What does that mean, contemporary women?
Someone who can think for herself, someone who can act for herself, someone who can stand up for herself, someone who's...
Women who can do all those things for themselves usually live by themselves.
Well, you can certainly live a happy life with somebody else, but I think you got to take care of yourself.
Guys don't want to be with mouthy broads who never shut up.
Well, my husband of 12 years might take...
Well, he's probably a pussy.
He's not a pussy, but he loves your show. He loves your show.
I'll bet he does.
He's right here. I'll put him on for you.
Okay,
hold on.
put him on.
Oh, wait a minute now. Was I just called a pussy?
Well, if you can put up with that mouth for 12 years, I don't know how you do it.
You have no idea what that mouth is like. Come on, Tom.
I mean when it's talking.
I understand.
Not when it's full.
She is great. Listen, I'm a fan, and we're kind of new to the West Coast listening to you, but she's just not getting it, and I'm not sure if she ever will.
Hasn't she heard the other women calling in this hour, one after another? They said, "Yeah, I hated them when I first tuned in. I hated them," and
she is listening, but I do have to kind of agree with her in ways. They do all sound kind of like, they're under some sort of trance, some sort of like stepper thing is happening.
Well, I certainly am the leader of a cult, as you know.
That's for sure.
I'll be having a big listener party. We'll be serving Kool-Aid this week, so don't miss that.
Well, you know what? We will mark this date down on our calendar and call you a year from now, and we'll see what happens.
Excellent. Sounds good to me.
All right, man.
Thanks very much for the call.
Tom Leykis.
Come on.
1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
How are you today?
Do you care?
Yes, I do, because I don't want you to rip me a new one because I don't agree with you on what you say.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. Veronica on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hola, Tom. How you doing?
Do you care, Veronica?
I sure do.
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Well, I was just kind of let you know that, my parents are old school Mexican, and my mom was always trying to tell me how the traditional female roles were the way to go. And I've been fighting it most of my life that wasn't it. And, once I started listening to you, I wasn't sure if I was going to like you. And I've been hearing you for about 3 years. And I'm convinced, I'm hearing you, and I'm like, that's what my mom has been telling me my whole life. And you definitely say a lot of correct things about women. Majority of the women are what you say they are. And you're not always talking about everybody, because I know you're not talking about me. You're talking about everybody else that's not the right way that they should be, because, we do need to take care of our men.
Is your mom married?
Yes, my parents have been married for 43 years.
Well, that should tell you something, shouldn't it?
Yes, definitely, and I know what my place is in a relationship, and, I am currently unmarried, but, I like it this way, and, I'm just interested in having fun and meeting people.
And you're how old?
I'm going to be 30 in about 2 weeks.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, I like the way you use the word unmarried and not single. I think that's great.
You.
Yeah, unmarried is the way to go.
That's it.
Single is desperate.
And that I'm not. Definitely. I want to take my time because, I do want to have a family, but I also want to find the right person to have that family with.
Mm-hmm. And you're taking your time, which is the best way to go.
Most definitely. And I thank you so much for all the wisdom that you are sharing with everybody that listens to you. And folks out there, you need to really listen to him because he definitely knows what he's talking about. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Veronica.
Thank you.
Well, what do you want to be taken out? Do you want to be taken out? I lost her. She wanted to be taken out somehow, and I lost her after that half a syllable there. 1-800-5800-TOM. This is Sherry on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. I used to hate you when I hated myself.
That usually goes hand in hand, dear.
Yeah, it really does. I listen to you. I've learned a lot. I've lost over 160 pounds.
Wow.
And, I love myself. And what you have to say is so right on about so many women. I'm a 49-year-old woman. I listen to you constantly. I didn't get married until I was 35. I have 2 sons, and we listen to you all the time, Tom.
I think that's great.
And what you say is so true.
I love that.
And I want to thank you for helping change my life because I'm a different person. I look in the mirror, and I like what I see. And before, I used to hate myself, and I tried to convince myself that being overweight was not really that bad because I was a great person. I was fun to be with. I had a great personality. I was intelligent. But you know what? I couldn't even convince myself of that. But now I can. And
now that you look great, you would never resent anything I say about women on this show because you look great.
Absolutely.
So the women who call up and get all mad at me, those are the chunksters with the short hair who gave up a long time ago.
Well, yeah, and they hate themselves, and actually, Tom, they think that they hate you, but they don't. They hate themselves. They just can't figure that out.
I think you're right.
And I don't care how much, how many acrylic nails they have, or how much eyeshadow, or how big their lips are with lipstick. They still hate themselves.
Yeah, you're right about that.
That's right.
You got it, Sherry.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you for the call. Our email address is my name. It's tom@blowmeuptom.com. tom@blowmeuptom.com. Or you can call our comment line 24 hours a day. The number, area code 310-842-9592.
The Tom Leykis Show.